Good Thursday afternoon, everybody. It's meteorologist Diana Rodriguez, and I'm currently in the KWQC TV6 newsroom. And I just want to hop on here and kind of give you a little one by one on what we've been tracking here all week long. We already have a system that's starting to enter the TV6 viewing area, and while that will be bringing us some snow here this afternoon through this evening, and then unfortunately we are tracking some more impactful weather as we get into this weekend, Saturday, with some very cold temperatures as we get into our Sunday. So I do want to show you here one by one, give you guys a chance to hop on here. And of course, I'll answer any questions here on Facebook. Let's see, as we continue that in just a little bit. All right, let's see. Oh, perfect. All right, there we go. All right, so we do have a first alert day, like I mentioned here, that's going to be in effect until midnight tonight. So what exactly are we going to be expecting? I know we've had a lot of, crazy weather here over the last week here, and unfortunately this is just the start as we get into the weekend. So let's see. Oh no, there we go. So we're tracking anywhere from 1 to 4 inches worth of snow. Now this is definitely going to vary depending on the location. Now this system has shifted a lot here over the last couple of hours, believe it or not, but right now it is on track for the southern counties to be getting anywhere from 1 to 4, and maybe some isolated areas that could be seeing even, maybe 5 inches of snow. A lot can and will change, but regardless whether we get 1 inch to 2, 3, 4, even 5, that will cause some very slick travel conditions here for this evening. I mean, it's Thursday evening. A lot of people are going to be heading off of work. A lot of the kids have, whether that's practices indoors or, maybe heading out and about here as we start to get ready into the weekend. That's also going to cause for reduced visibility. Now, we do have alerts here. We have a winter weather advisory, and you can see it's not just here for parts of the TV6 viewing area, but most of the state of Iowa and even other states here off to the west. So if we take an even closer look on that, we can definitely notice that band of snow as it's headed our direction here already. Now, earlier we were kind of tracking that it looked a little bit more exaggerated here on the satellite radar, but we did have some dry air in place, which was kind of stopping us from seeing any of that snow hit the ground. But already taking a look outside, we were seeing, some of that snow already here through our cameras. So I do want to show you that here as we, let's see, I'm having some troubles with my clicker. There we go. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so what are we seeing here right now? I know it looks a little bit over-exaggerated, but you can see off around Iowa City, Mount Pleasant, and Burlington, already starting to see some of that heavier band of snow, and that's going to continue here as we get into, this evening. So taking a look outside right now, here in the Metro Quad cities, we're still, clear. I wouldn't say we're seeing some of those flurries here just yet, but in Burlington, I mean, you could definitely see those flurries coming down already. We'll take an even closer look, and you see that snow already starting to move through the area. So that's what we're all going to be seeing here as we get into the next couple of hours here this evening. So definitely some accumulations here as we get into the next couple of hours. So we do want everybody to be weather aware. I know we were very fortunate to finally see some of that melting, but unfortunately we're going to go back to seeing a lot of all that snow here on the ground. So I do kind of want to show you the system here one by one on exact track on what we're going to be seeing. So that snow already moving in through here the next couple of hours, and even as we get into this evening very slowly. It does seem like it's going to be more of the southern counties that are going to be hit with most of that snow. I will say maybe up north in Joe Davies, Carroll, and maybe part of even Whiteside County might not really necessarily see or maybe be impacted as much. But don't worry, even as we get into this weekend, I'm sure a lot of us will definitely get our fair share as far as some snow. So around 7 p.m. we'll still have the system moving through the area very slowly, but then quickly start to exit around 10, 11 p.m. even after midnight, leaving us behind with very cloudy conditions. So luckily for us, we do get a little bit of relief, so another calm before the storm, because as we get into this weekend, some more snow and very cold temperatures. So on exact track here around 9 a.m., some of our counties here that might not get as much snow maybe could be seeing a few peaks of some sunshine. Now, I'm not talking all across the TV6 viewing area, specifically around like Joe Davies, Carroll County, but then a lot of that cloud cover here. I'm going to rule out the possibility for maybe a flurry or two for maybe some of those western counties throughout the day, along with all those cloudy skies, but those temperatures are definitely going to, cool down, and a lot more even as we get into our Sunday. So speaking, how many accumulations with this quick moving system that's going to move through the area today, it's more than evident that those southern counties could be getting anywhere from maybe 3 to 4 inches. Isolated, it just depends on where this band of snow definitely lays out here across the TV6 viewing area. As far as up north, like I keep mentioning, maybe some of us might not see any pretty big impacts here, maybe less than an inch of snow, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of us do see a little bit of those light accumulations, and well, not too bad here for us, but definitely could cause some pretty slick road conditions. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to see 5 inches of snow here for us to be impacted. You can see the severe weather threats does seem around 5, 6 p.m. or just the prime time where everybody's leaving work, or maybe, leaving sporting events or whatever activities you could have here for this evening. We'll have that snow moving in, that's going to reduce that visibility, and those roads will be slick. One thing I will notice with the system that we're not really going to be dealing with, well, some of that wind that we've dealt with before, so it's not necessarily going to be blustery, but it's still going to be slick out there. That visibility will still be reduced, especially now that, it gets dark pretty early. So definitely, unfortunately, not too happy about that, but of course, hopefully things will start to change here as we get into the next couple of days. Now, after we get through today, we'll catch some relief as we get into tomorrow, and then we have another first alert day Saturday due to, well, those cold temperatures and some more snow that will be moving into the area. Now, as far as exact timing, the shift in the location of the system, accumulations, and all of that winter stuff, it's kind of hard to say and pinpoint and nail down because we're still a few days out. We have to get through the system and tomorrow to have a better idea and understanding on how much we will get here across the area. So a lot can and will change, but we do have this system on track here to head our direction. And then on Sunday, we'll have some sunshine, believe it or not, but you'll be seeing that sunshine from indoors because temperatures will be very cold. We're talking about wind chills below 0 degrees and even low temperatures. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those below 0 degree temperatures, even over the late night hours, maybe stick around to early morning hours of our Monday. So as of now, we don't have a first alert day here for early Monday morning, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do change that here in the next near future. And of course, we'll keep you up to date here with that. So let's get into our next system here for this weekend and kind of show you one by one on what we're tracking here for the area. So exact track. This is going to start as of let's see, 6 a.m., 5 a.m. here on Saturday, and you can see around 7 a.m. on Saturday, some of the areas already starting to see a little bit of that snow. So around Iowa City and Cedar County, the southern counties of Henry, Des Moines, Louisa, Burlington, all of you could start to see a few flurries here to kick off that Saturday morning. Now this system's going to be moving through, and it does seem like it's going to keep us kind of to the areas onto the south. A lot of the models do keep changing, and I will say when it comes to that confidence, very low right now on who will be getting what here. I do anticipate for our Saturday system to maybe not be as impactful as far as bringing us those higher accumulations and stronger. But nevertheless, we will be having a little bit of some snow. A lot can and will change, and we're still on track to see some of that. This is not going to be an event where it's going to be overnight into our Sunday, but we're still talking about some dangerously cold temperatures. So it does seem like the system will be clearing out maybe around 3 p.m. here on Saturday, leaving us behind with cloudy skies and very cold temperatures. As far as additional snow accumulations, it does seem like those southern counties are going to be slammed again as of right now with maybe an additional maybe 2 to 3 inches right now. Again, it's very hard for me to tell you, hey, we're going to be getting, 4 inches here, 3 inches there. It just depends on where this system comes. We've been getting a lot of these clippers, and a lot of them have been changing, and it does kind of get a little bit challenging on pinpointing. But it does seem like those northern counties, again, Joe Davies and Carroll, you guys are going to luck out. Maybe, I wouldn't really count on it. Maybe it's being a few flurries, but as far as higher accumulations, it does look to be more to the south. But of course, with those models that continue to update, we're still a couple hours away here from today's system, and even as we get into tomorrow and for our next system on Saturday, a lot can and will change. So definitely a big emphasis on that. So I do want to show you the weekend outlook, and again, that system here for Saturday, a lot of sunshine on Sunday. I mean, things are going to look pretty bright, but those temperatures in the single digits. It's very unfortunate. Not a big fan of those single digits. I'm sure a lot of people definitely are like, what? It's going to be very cold. So I do want to show you what the feels like is going to be as we get into Saturday and this weekend. So I know the models when I was showing you you know, the totals when it comes to snow amounts and the exact track doesn't look too over exaggerated, but the temperatures are definitely going to be very cold. And I'm sure a lot of us want to be able to go out and do things, but it's going to be dangerously cold out there, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do have some weather headlines due to how very cold it's going to be. So on exact track, I do want to show you the feels like temperatures here around 6 a.m. here on Saturday and kind of give you that breakdown throughout our day. So we're going to be waking up with temperatures below 0 degrees, but it's going to feel like it's 14 degrees below zero in Davenport, 19 degrees below in Dubuque, negative 23 in Galena. So definitely those northern counties going to feel a lot colder here. But I mean, all across the area. You could definitely notice that here on the exact track. And as we get throughout our day here, let me see, let's kind of advance it to the afternoon. We don't really get much relief. We're still going to stick to having those below 0 degree feels like wind chills here across the area. So definitely not going to be, we're gonna have that system come through. It's definitely going to be leaving us behind with those very cold temperatures. They're going to become even colder as we get throughout our day on Saturday into midnight. I mean, look at that. Around dinner time on Saturday, it's going to feel like it's negative 16 in Davenport, negative 17 in Iowa City. Up north in Galena, it's going to feel like it's negative 23. So definitely a very cold one. It's going to feel a lot colder than last time when we had those headlines here across the area that were below zero. Definitely the coldest weekend here that we've had here of the season, and it's not even winter just yet. So it's going to feel like January here come this weekend. Definitely want to stay indoors. If you haven't already, maybe put up those Christmas decorations or maybe start gathering up those, you know, plans that you're going to have here with the family as we get closer to the holidays. But yes, do anticipate for not only Saturday to be cold, Sunday is going to be a lot colder. It's around 10 p.m. on Saturday. It's going to feel like it's negative 22 in Davenport, negative 26 in Dubuque, and it's only going to feel worse as we get into early Saturday morning. So I wouldn't be surprised, again, if some headlines do get issued here from the National Weather Service and we continue this first alert day here, even as we get into our Monday. So around church time on Sunday morning, if you're maybe planning on hanging out to church or gathering with your family, look at those. We're all going to be below, well, 20 degrees here on Sunday. So a lot can and will change, but when I mean by change here, I don't necessarily think we're going to be warming up. This is just the feels like those wind chills, but the temperatures, they're going to feel like we're in the single digits. I think we're forecasting a high of 8 degrees on Sunday, and that's kind of just us kind of being like, okay, let's look at everything together. So definitely a cold one, but for those of you who are maybe wondering, are we going to be getting some relief here anytime soon from all this wintry weather mess that we've had here across the area? We actually are as we get into next week. So we'll continue to look here at the feels like temperature on exact track around early Monday morning. And again, wouldn't be surprised if we continue that first alert day. It's going to be a very cold one. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's some schools that might be starting late here due to how cold it's going to be. So definitely want to make sure those kids are layered up here across the area. It's going to be a very, very cold one. All right, let's get into what we're going to be tracking after we get into this weekend. So 6 to 10 day temperatures. We do seem like we have been tracking a little bit warmer and above average. The average high around this time of year is 38 degrees, and we're already starting to see some models. Of course, a lot will change here from now and there, but we could be seeing some upper 30s to 40s here as we get into next week. So definitely excited about that. Definitely have to get through this weekend, and then we can enjoy those great temperatures, but that's going to mean we are going to begin to see all of that melting. So definitely a lot of pros and cons here across the area, whether you love the winter weather, those cold temperatures and the snow, or if you like the sun, the quiet weather, and temperatures are a little bit more mild for this time of year. We have a little bit of both. So definitely want to get rid of this activity through this activity here this weekend and make sure you're weather aware. Make sure you download that KWQC First Alert Weather app, and we'll continue to keep you up to date here and update those forecasts here across the area to keep you guys up to date. So a lot does change here, believe it or not. I mean, we are constantly looking at our models 24/7 feels like. I mean, it's all 6 of us, and we're just seeing updates come by, and boy, a lot can change, and it will change. All right, let me go on Facebook and see what kind of questions you may have. What time for Sterling Rock Falls, Illinois? All right, is the snow coming? All right, let me see if I can go back to, the model that I was looking at before. But believe it or not, let's see, Carissa, you're asking, You are in Sterling. You know what? You guys might be seeing a few flurries, but if this does continue to shift a little bit more, maybe you guys could be seeing maybe up to an inch of snow here. Let me go back to, I am in the newsroom right now, so it's kind of hard for me to, all right, not that one. I kind of want to show you the path again so that you kind of have a better understanding at, okay, okay. All right, this might be the way, yeah. Okay, so Carissa, you're asking what time for Sterling Rock Falls. This system has been shifting a lot, a little bit more to the south. Now, as far as accumulations and what you guys could be getting, I do anticipate for Sterling to maybe see a few of those flurries. Is it going to be heavy and maybe produce like up to 4 inches? Very doubtful of that, just because a lot of what we're seeing here, the rotation and the way the system has been moving, has been pretty much to the south. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, this does continue that direction here to this evening. Maybe you guys look out and not even see that major accumulations. It does seem like more of it does seem to stay to the south, which is why the southern counties are under a winter weather advisory. Let's see. Hopefully that answers your question. What is Burlington, Iowa extended to get tonight? Okay, so Burlington, Iowa, that county is actually under a winter weather advisory until 3 a.m. First alert day until midnight. As far as how much you guys are going to be getting, I do believe that you guys could maybe be getting some more of that heavier, those higher accumulations, excuse me, maybe up to 4 inches due to the placement of the band. If we continue with that direction, you guys could be getting a little bit more of that heavier snow. Again, you guys are under that winter weather advisory. It has seemed like that's the path that it's initiated, and we're already seeing some snow. So we're still a couple more hours where we're going to continue to get that there through Burlington. So I do expect for you guys to definitely be dealing with reduced visibility along with some slick roads. Is Burlington, Iowa going to get a wintry mix this weekend? As far as a mix, we're not seeing a mix. We are seeing more of it being a snow event, and we haven't really seen anything that's been giving us more of a mix here for us. Maybe some other counties, but let's see. It's going to be a fast-moving system that will kind of, the way I looked at it right now, comparing both of the models from what we're going to be getting today and even on Saturday, it does seem like they're going to be pretty similar, but the system we have today is going to be a little bit more impactful as far as snow accumulations. So because the one for Saturday, it does seem to be a little bit more of a quick one. Now, I feel like the bigger impact that we're going to have from that system is going to be the cold temperatures that we're going to have. I mean, the wind chills valley, I showed them to you guys, I mean, below zero, it's going to be dangerously cold. So while that system will exit out, we'll catch relief from the snow, but it's going to be very, very cold. I mean, we didn't even see those wind chills last time when we had those advisories here across the area, so I do anticipate it to be a dangerously cold one here, especially with it being the weekend, and I'm sure a lot of us wanting to go out and, well, enjoy those holiday activities. Let's see, Chris is asking, if there's a school event tonight, is it recommended to avoid going out? Well, Chris, it depends on where you're at. If you're up north in Galena and around Savannah and Carroll, Joe Davies County, I will say you won't be running into as many issues as opposed to those southern counties. Regardless, we do want everybody to be safe, and we cannot stress this enough. We don't have to necessarily get 5 inches or 3 or 4 or 10 in order for those roads to become impactful. I mean, with just 1 inch of snow, it could be pretty slick out there, and we want everybody to avoid maybe, getting into those accidents. And with reduced visibility, when we have these systems, it could definitely lower to even less than a mile. So we do want everybody to be safe, which is why we put out these first alert days. Let's see. All right. No more questions on there. All right, so we're going to continue to track this. Of course, Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland and Meteorologist Kyle Dickens will have your guys' first alert forecast here tonight during your news at 4, 5, and 6, and 10. A lot will and can change, but of course we'll continue to update you. Make sure you download that KWQC First Alert Weather app, and we'll keep you up to date here with the latest.